Well, hi everybody, Mindy here. I'm back and I have some really good news. The Magic EA updates are finally complete. In fact, the updates were so extensive I had to change the name of the EA. So it is now the MegaMagic EA. Okay? The reason for that is because we've got lots of new features, lots of new protections for your account, and we've almost completely eliminated the need to make manual intervention trades. And that's what we were shooting for, right? Now, I was, as you know, originally hoping to go full AI, artificial intelligence, on the EA, right? But what I found out is that was not the best solution for an EA of this type, okay? And it gets really complicated to explain all of it, so I'm not going to. But what we have is very, very close to an EA that is completely automated, okay? But not 100%, okay? Now, the easiest way for me to show you what I'm talking about is what I did is I went in and I made a spreadsheet on how this EA would have produced over the last 24 months. Okay, now the reason I went back 2 full years is because, as you know, a lot of EAs work really good until they don't, right? And like you might go buy some EA and the first couple of months it's just doing great, you know, it's making money and everything, and then all of a sudden you look at it one day and you've had a margin call and you've lost all of your money because the EA was developed for one set of market conditions, and when the market conditions change, the EA just goes to shit, right? And so, as you know, with my Magic EA, I've always been really cautious about that kind of a situation happening. And my EA was really pretty good at protecting against that. But the new MegaMagic EA, totally protected from changes in market conditions. Okay? And so to verify that, what I did is I tested it going back 2 full years. Okay, because in the last 2 years, we've had some major swings in market conditions, right, in the pairs that we trade. Now, the thing is, wherever you see a situation like this, where it's highlighted in red, that is a situation where you might want to make a manual intervention. Okay, so in the last 2 years, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those situations in the JPY pairs, and none of those situations in the USD pairs. Okay, so I think 5 times in 2, oh, I'm sorry, there's one. There's one. That makes 6. 6 times in 2 years, we might have made a manual intervention. Now, would you have to make a manual intervention? No, you don't have to. Okay? But if you wanted to, what you could do is essentially manual intervene so that you would not have these negative trades coming out. They would come out as a positive with a manual intervention. Okay, so anyway, that's the gist of it. And so anyway, what I did, one of the really neat developments of the MegaMagic EA is that it now works with the strategy tester that is built into MetaTrader. Okay, so strategy testers, you know, they're not perfect, but they're awfully darn good as far as being relatively accurate about how much the EA would have done going back in history. Okay, it's really quite remarkable. Now, what I've been doing the last few months is I've had different versions of the MegaMagic EA running. I've been through probably, I don't know, 40 or 50 revisions with the programmer to make sure that every little thing is working perfectly, right? So every time he makes a change, even if it's just a couple of lines of code, it was a new version. So I can't even count how many versions we've been through. But I've been running the MegaMagic EA on demo accounts this whole time, and when there wasn't a significant change to how it would have produced, I've gone in and I've looked at the trades that it made in the demo account and the trades that it said it should have made in the strategy tester, and it's really been quite accurate. Okay, so what we have on here, and I'm just going to go through this first column first to explain what I did in the testing. What I did is I assumed that we were going to close all the positions at the end of every month. Okay, so on the AUD-JPY pair, starting with January of 2022, during the month of January, the EA made one trade in this pair that month. It would have made $51 on that trade, and the drawdown would have been 0.31% during that month. Okay, now in the month of February and the month of March, the EA made no trades in the AUD-JPY pair. Okay, but in April it made 17 trades that yielded $1,189, and the total drawdown for that month, the highest drawdown, was 8.69%. Okay, then it had a whole bunch of months in a row where it didn't make any trades in this pair. Okay, in December of 22, it would have made $825 off of 12 trades with a drawdown of 10.58%. Okay, in March it would have made $51 off of one trade, 0.27% drawdown. Now these drawdown numbers are important, and I'll show you in a minute why they're important. Okay, but by the time we get to the end, now this month of December isn't really complete yet, so there still could be some trades in the month of December that aren't going to show up on this because I, did this spreadsheet over the course of the last couple of weeks. So it kind of depends on what day in December I did the numbers for this pair, but I'm pretty sure there haven't been any since then in December. Okay, now this total line right here is the amount of money that this pair would have made if you just add up all of the money that it made during these 24 months. Okay, and that was $2,456 off of 38 trades. Okay, and then of course the drawdown is month by month, so it's different every month. Now, this next total line is what would have happened if we turned the EA on January 1st of 2022 and left it on the whole time until last week, right? It's not December 31st yet, so it would essentially be going through like December 16th or something like that. But if we just left it running, the total is a little bit different. It's 2,472. Now, still the same 38 trades. The overall drawdown for the 2-year period, leaving the EA on for the full 2 years, was 9.47%. Now, the reason that the numbers are different, and in this case they're only a little bit different, is because these numbers are assuming that we closed the EA at the end of every month. Now, when the EA is running straight through from month 1 all the way down to month 24, some trades might have held over from one month into another month and made more money or less money. See what I'm saying? So the straight run is assuming we left it going for the entire 2 years. Now, I went further than that. Below that, you see a year 22 only total and a year 23 only. So the 22 only is if we turned it on January 1st of 2022 and turned it off December 31st of 2022. Okay, so that way you can see the difference on how much it made in the year 22 as opposed to how much it made in the year 23. Okay, and in this case, it did really well in the year 22, and it didn't do so good in the year 23, right? But that's the whole point. All of the different pairs are going to be different. They're all going to yield different results. Okay, so on this next one, on the CAD JPY, what we see on this one is that the total, just adding everything up, was $3,285. Now, if we just let it run from January of one year to December the next year, it would have lost money. And you're saying, well, how could that happen? Well, it could happen because if this negative trade right here continued into the next month and the next month and the next month and the next month, this trade got so bad that it ate up all the money. But that's also assuming that you did not do a manual intervention. Okay? And a lot of times you might want to just close that, take the loss on it, and be done with it at the end of that month anyway. So that's why when we have the straight run through for 24 months, the numbers can be significantly different than what they were if we closed every trade at the end of every month. And sometimes it's worse, and sometimes it's better. Okay? So, that's what those numbers are about. And what I did is I sorted these out, and I put all of the JPY pairs across the top. And there's 7 JPY pairs that we trade. Okay? And then down here in the second line, I put all of the USD pairs. Now, obviously, there's one USD pair up here on the JPY line, USD JPY. So I could have put this one up here on the top row, or I could have put it down here on the bottom row. But anyway, there's 13 pairs that we trade, right? Now, see, here's a situation where on EUR USD, if we closed all the trades at the end of each month, over the 2-year period, we would have made $6,105. If we turned it on, left it on, didn't turn it off for 24 months, it would have made $13,000. And that's because a lot of these trades would have continued to build more money when they went from month to month before they finally closed. Okay? And if we did just the year 2022, turning it on in January and off in December, it would have made $9,575, which is more than it made for 24 months, taking the money out every month. So some of these trades in 2022 would have gotten a whole lot better, is what that's telling us when we look at the number. Okay? And then in the year 23, running it from January of 23 to December, it made $1,831. Okay, now, why are all these numbers important? Well, they're important because what I want you to see is that not every pair makes trades in the same month. You know, sometimes you'll have a month where a lot of the pairs will make trades. Other times you might have a month where just a couple of pairs makes trades. But that's okay, because the point of this EA is not to see how many trades we can make. It's to see how much money we can make while taking as little risk as possible. Okay? And what we can see very clearly is that this EA is consistently safe, right? Because every month, almost without exception, but there are a few exceptions, these red ones, we make a little bit of money here, a little bit of money there, a little bit of money there, a little bit of money there. But overall, it makes quite a bit of money. And as with the Magic EA, the MegaMagic EA is totally customizable by you. So if you want to adjust settings and take more risk or less risk, you can do that. Okay? And in a lot of situations, some of you might want to do that. Some of you might want to look at what the Euro USD has done and said, that's a pretty consistent profit. Most of the time I'm going to make X amount of dollars every month, or most months, or whatever. And you might say, I think I just want to trade one pair, and I'm only going to trade the Euro USD. But when I look at how small the drawdowns are, maybe I want to double the size of the trades, where I would make twice as much money. Of course, you'd be taking twice as much risk, but the risk still wouldn't be out of line, because the biggest drawdown that we had in any one month was 25%, which that happens. It just means that there were some trades that were ugly before they came out positive, right? But you can do that. You can adjust it totally to your comfort zone, and you can adjust it to your trading style. If you want to use it as a scalper, you can create a set file and use it as a scalper, where it does make a whole bunch of trades, but they're little trades, little tiny trades, but whole bunches of them. And you can adjust the risk factor on when you want to, how much drawdown you want to have that you're comfortable with, and after that the EA won't make any more trades if it reaches those limits. So it's totally customizable. But using the set files that I have listed here, and of course I'm going to send you all the set files that I use so that you know what you're getting. But when we go to the far side of the spreadsheet, I've laid out all the totals of how much you would have made. So if you were trading all 13 pairs during the month of January of 2022, you would have made $1,457 that month, okay, off of 17 trades. And the largest drawdown that you would have had during that month would have been 23.44%. Now that doesn't mean that you would have 23.44% drawdown, because not all of the trades were active on the same days, right? But the 23.84 would be assuming if every trade that went bad that month went bad on the same day. That's what that would mean. So that's a maximum of how bad the drawdown would have been that month. Okay, it doesn't mean that it went that high. It means it could have gone that high if every bad trade that month happened on the same day. Okay, and that usually doesn't happen. Okay, but it could theoretically. Now, in the month of February of 2022, you would have made $2,843 off of 42 trades. So we had a lot more trading that happened that month. And the maximum drawdown that you would have seen might have been as high as 51.17%. But remember, drawdown in Magic EA land really doesn't mean much, because the drawdown is talking about how ugly are your trades at any one moment in time. But the strategy that we use, we never take those losses. We never close trades for losses, right? So we don't really worry about drawdown too much, except for the fact that we don't want the drawdown to get high enough that our account is at risk of running out of money. Because if it runs out of usable margin, you would have a drawdown of 100%. You would hit a margin call and lose most of your funds. But we don't really let that happen. And with the Magic EA, if you remember right, one of the major features of the Magic EA is that in the Account Risk Manager, you can set the maximum drawdown for whatever percentage you want it to be that you're comfortable with. And if you're only comfortable with a 20% drawdown, you can put that in, and if the total drawdown gets to that 20%, the EA will stop making more trades until it has closed the ones it already has open. So you have total control over your drawdown. Okay, but anyway, what this is, it's telling you. Now you're saying, well, how do you know that that's how much this total would have been? Well, if we click on this total and go up here, it shows you all the lines that it was adding up. Okay, and I have to kind of fish around. The spreadsheet is huge, but what it's showing you, it's adding up all of the profits for the month of January in all of the 13 pairs. Okay, so that's the wonderful thing about spreadsheets, is they tell you anything you want to know if you code them correctly. Same with the trades. I didn't add these up. The spreadsheet did. Okay, it went through and found all of how many trades were made on each of the 13 pairs and added them up, put them in the total. Okay, same with the drawdown. What it's actually doing is adding up the worst drawdown found in each of the pairs. Okay, it's literally adding it up. But that does not mean that the drawdown would have been that high, because not all of those trades would have been in and open on the same day. Okay, now the thing is, during the month of January in the year 2022, if you wanted to know how many of the 13 pairs made trades that month, that number is right here as 4. Okay, during the month of February, 5 different pairs made trades that month. Okay, the highest we had was down here in December of 22, when we had 10 of the 13 pairs made trades during that month. Okay, but like I told you, we don't want all of the pairs making trades all of the time, because that's going to put our account at risk. Because if we have all of them making trades all of the time, we're going to have higher drawdowns than what we want. Because if they're all making trades every day, you're going to have a lot of, a lot of little drawdowns that can add up to be a big drawdown. right? And what our line item says here is during the month of December of 22, potentially our drawdown could have been as high as 77%. But I've been in here and I've checked it, and it wouldn't have been anywhere near that, because during that month, not all of the trades had negative stuff in them on the same days. Okay, and that I can show you too, but that's getting into a whole nother class, because it's going to take hours to show you how I figured that out. Okay, but anyway, you got all the information that you need, okay, to get an idea of how the EA is going to do. And the whole point about the EA, like I said, it's not about how many trades we can make. It's about making a reasonable profit with as little risk as possible. Okay, so if you were taking your money out every month, the end of every month, and just starting over, and you weren't making any manual trades at all, these negative numbers are already included in these totals. So they've already been deducted out. Okay, but at the end of the 24 months, closing everything every month, you would have made $48,429. Okay, now that is 2 years. So if you kind of cut that in half and assume half of it was in 1 year and half of it was in the other year, then you would make about $24,000 a year. And that's also assuming that you're starting with a $10,000 account. But that's 240% annually, while taking almost no risk. There's always risk involved in forex. And the other thing that you have to understand is that even though I've gone back for 2 years, future results in forex cannot be promised off of past performance. Okay? Anything can happen in forex, you all know that. But having a 2-year history, you can pretty much see that this EA can weather the storm of changing market conditions really well. Okay, so because nobody can predict the future, the only thing we have to go by is past performance. You know, that's the only way that we have any way of judging what to expect in the future. Now, that doesn't mean it's a promise. It means that it's an expectation, right? That's all it is. But these USD pairs, I think, are fantastic. I really do. Because we had a couple of trades in USD JPY that we would have probably wanted to do some manual interventions on. And other than that, we only had one, and that was in AUD USD, 1 month. So, you know, if you're only going to trade USD pairs, that's only 3 times in 2 years that you would have wanted to do a manual intervention. Or not. If you don't want to, well, you know, you don't have to. Because if you would prefer just to take the hits when you have situations like this, you can do that. And these totals are assuming that you did take the hits. You know, it's assuming that you took this $600 loss and this almost $200 loss. That's already built in. Because there's no way that the strategy tester that I'm using can strategize manual trades, because there's no way to tell the strategy tester, oh yeah, I would have put a manual trade in here or there or wherever, you know. So anyway, what that means is that these results are almost like a worst case scenario, really. you know, what we really expect if we're going to do reasonable manual interventions is that none of these are going to come out for losses, and we're going to make more money, because like this $99 one, if we just would have let that go into the next month, it wouldn't have come out for $99 loss anyway. It probably would have been about a $400 profit, right? So so anyway, these totals are almost like a worst case scenario, which I think is pretty good, you know. But let me show you some more things about the Magic EA. So anyway, that's a spreadsheet. That's kind of like the proof in the pudding as far as showing you that this really is a real deal. But when we go and we look at our new properties window, you guys are going to love this. Okay, what we've got going on here are lots and lots and lots of new features. Okay, if you remember right, the Magic EA had a properties window with about 80 lines of stuff in it. And everybody thought, oh my God, this is so much. Well, now we have 151 lines of stuff in it. Okay, so it just keeps getting bigger. But the thing is, it didn't get bigger for no reason. It got better. So if you're going to use lines in the property window as a guide of how much better did it get, almost 100%. We had about 80, now we got 150. That's almost 160. Okay, 160 would be 100% better. Okay, we're almost there. But not really. You know what I'm saying. So anyway, one of the most intriguing new features of the EA is that it will now manage your manual trades. So if you want to put in a manual trade and walk away, you can do that. The EA is going to pick up that trade and manage it as per whatever instructions you tell it to do. Okay, so that's pretty good. Okay, that's a huge development in the EA. But not only will it manage your manual trades, it will also use your manual trades to close your abandoned hedges. See what I'm saying? See why we don't have any reason now to ever have an abandoned hedge that's a problem? Okay, so anyway, I'm so excited about that. But anyway, that's one of the major features that was really actually quite difficult to do the programming on. Because to have the EA take a manual trade and manage it, that part wasn't that difficult. But having the programming done to take that manual trade and fit it into a chain of trades so that it could close off an abandoned hedge was quite difficult. And that alone took the programmer a couple months to get right. There's just so much more involved than people know about these algorithms and the coding and everything in the program. Okay, but here's another great thing that we have. Now, before in the Magic EA, as you remember, we have our hedges and our quick fixers, and we could assign how many quick fixers we wanted to have happen in a chain of trades, right? But the problem was the trade sizes would continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and so we really had to cut that off, that chain limit, at about 2, which would mean that that would put us in a hedge at level 3, right? Well, now we have round B quick fixers. Okay, they can take over, and on the round B quick fixers we can decide how big we want those new quick fixers to be. Okay, we can make them any size we want. We can make them 110% of the size of the last hedge. We can make them 200%, totally within our control. Okay? And then, if we still need more help, we have a round C quick fixer and hedge situation. Okay? So, I'll teach you how to use all of this. What we're going to do is the EA can be purchased as of today, but nobody is going to receive it until Friday of this week. Today is Tuesday. Today is December 26th. It's Tuesday. All of the EAs, the MegaMagic EAs, will be shipped out to you via email on Friday. That's going to give us Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to make sure that everybody is up and running, that they have it installed properly, they can play with it with the strategy tester and go through and see that I have given you true and honest data here, because you can go in and double check any of that stuff against the set files that I'm going to send you, because I'm going to send you the same ones, and you can go in and play with the strategy tester till your heart's content, right? But we're all going to start together. We're going to start on the same day. Now the thing is, on January 1st, which is next Monday, the forex market is closed. It's only closed 2 days a year. Christmas Day and New Year's Day. So that's okay though, because that gives us Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, 4 days to get everybody up and running, everybody on the same page with any kind of help that you need. Now, that means that next Tuesday, 1 week from today, everybody can turn on their Magic EA. Their MegaMagic EA. Now, you're probably going to still have a lot of questions and stuff. And as you guys know, my health is not in a position right now to be on the computer all the time like I used to be. In fact, these days I'm doing good to be up and at it maybe a couple of hours a day. Okay? But I'm going to put up a go-to-meeting line for you, for all of you that are using the MegaMagic EA. And I'm going to keep that line running 24/7 so that you guys can talk to each other. And if you have a question, somebody on the line might have the answer, or you can brainstorm together about developing new set files or new strategies, work together like that. So that will be essentially a go-to-meeting line that you guys will have to use, all of you together. And it'll be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay? Well, probably not on the weekends, because nobody wants to work on the weekends anymore. But 24 hours a day when the market's open. So you'll have each other to rely on, and I'll be on there as much as I can be, but I can't, I simply don't have it in me anymore to be online 24 hours a day like I used to be. Okay, so anyway, that's the solution for that. We'll be able to, everybody will be able to help each other, because one person might understand something better than another, and they can explain it to them. But most of the time, if you just want to turn this thing on and go, these set files that I'm giving you will be pretty much set up that you won't have to change anything, okay, unless you want to. So, and if you, the thing is, there's so much in here. If you don't understand what you're changing, the best thing to do would be to not change it, okay, until you have talked to me about it, or, talk to somebody else that can explain the impact of what that change would have, And, you know, most of the time, if you're not sure about what you're changing, you shouldn't change any of it. Okay? Now, there will be times, from time to time, every couple of months or so, where I might be sending out instructions to you. And I might say, you know, things are needing a little adjustment in some pair, and I might want to have to go and tell everybody, okay, I want everybody to change line 17 from 23 to 28 or something. Yeah, and so there will be times like that, but everything in the EA is very easy to find. It's all got line numbers on it. Okay, and what we'll do on Friday, and all of those calls will be recorded, by the way. We will have a group calls on Friday and Saturday and Sunday and Monday, where I'm going to explain everything about the Magic EA in detail, and those calls will be recorded. So if you want to buy the EA and you want to get started with it, but you know you're not going to be available, you know, this weekend or something, don't worry. When you come home or come back, you will have access to all of that information on a recording. Okay, video recording, of course, so that you can see it. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. Now, I've been getting a lot of emails from people who are very anxious to get the MegaMagic EA. And I know this is very, very short notice, but that comes with some benefits too, okay? Because here's the thing about it. I have not had the time or the energy to update my website. Okay, so here's what's going to happen for the next few days anyway, at least until probably the middle part of January, at least the 1st of January. I'm not going to have time to update my website. So my website doesn't even have any information about the MegaMagic EA on it yet. But if you want to purchase the MegaMagic EA, come to my website and purchase the Magic EA. So I'm selling the MegaMagic EA to you for a discount, because right now it's still the same pricing links that I have for the Magic EA. So this is a hell of a deal, actually. If you know you're going to want it, you might want to buy a 90-day license for it, because the MegaMagic EA, the price is going up to $500 a month. And that's not negotiable. And I will not have any mini MegaMagic EAs. I'm not going to do anything for the smaller accounts. Now, so there is that. You know, so if you know you're going to be using this, you might want to buy a 90-day, that's 3-month license for $1,000 for a $1,500 product. Okay, but if you just want to get started on the 30 days, the month-to-month subscription to it, right, it's $350 if you buy it before I change the payment link. Now, I'm not going to do that before January 1st, but probably by mid-January, I will have the new payment links made, and the website will be updated, okay, and everything. So if you buy it now, you're going to get a substantial discount, and you're going to have access to the 24-hour go-to-meeting line. I'm not, you know, not sure how many people we're going to have initially. So there might be times that, you know, you go to the go-to-meeting line, there might not be anybody there. But, you know, if we can get enough people in the club here using the Magic EA, it'll be a situation where there will pretty much be somebody on that line all the time. listening in, deciding, working together on, where you might want to put manual trades, and, just knocking your heads together, getting it all figured out and stuff. There is a little bit to getting used to using the Magic EA, because there might be times that you want to go in to the properties window and change a setting just for a short time, and you have to know how to do that. And then you have to know how to change it back after it's done its thing, right, that you wanted it to do. So anyway, that's where we're going with this. Now, if you buy it today or tomorrow or the next day, just know that I am not going to send it to you until Friday. But if everybody waits till Friday to order it, then that's going to slow things down, because there's only so many I can process on on one day before I'm going to be spending most of that day online with you guys. Okay, so anyway, that's what I have to tell you about the Magic EA. I honestly think you're going to love it, because it's actually a little more fantastic than I even expected it would be. And so anyway, I'm just pleased as punch with how it turned out. And I think that oh, here's another thing. I'm also going to send you this spreadsheet. When you order it, I'm going to send you this spreadsheet too, so that you can go in and verify that everything on here is accurate. I'm going to show you how to use the strategy tester, which initially is kind of difficult, but once you get it up and running, kind of get the flavor for it, it's pretty easy. But let's say that you were only trading the USD pairs, and you weren't trading any of the JPY pairs other than the USD JPY. Okay, so if that's the case, then here's how much you would have made month to month to month. Now here's something unusual. We had one month that had a negative of $38. That was because of, I think that was, yeah, we had a ugly in the JPY pair that ate up all the profit from the other pairs, that $644 one. So, but like I said, if we had made a manual intervention trade, that wouldn't have been the case. It would have been a pretty nice profit for that month. Okay, but this is what you would have made month by month by month, and the drawdowns that you would have had. See what I'm saying? So if somebody only wanted to trade the USD pairs, by looking at these drawdowns, there was only one month that had a 52%. Now that would have been a maximum potential. Doesn't mean that the drawdown actually got to 52% at any point that month. That's assuming every negative trade hit its maximum ugliness at the same time. Okay, but you could easily double the size of the trades and just trade these pairs, because they are that reliable. And if there's a month where things go wacko, don't forget we have the account risk manager that stops allowing more trades to happen if the drawdown reaches the number that you prescribe it to be. So if you say you don't want more than 35% drawdown total at any given time, in these months where it hit more than 35% this month, if at any time that month that it was more than 35%, it wouldn't allow more trades to go in. Okay, that's the only month that we had that even would have hit our standard. Our standard practice is to allow it to have 35% drawdown. Right, that's pretty much our standard that we use, because we know that still leaves us plenty of money to get out of the situations that we're in, and none of them are going to close for that anyway, right? So drawdown really, in my way of trading in Magic Land, trading, and drawdown really doesn't mean that much. If we were taking those losses, that would mean something. Okay, but anyway, that's what I have to show you. That's the plan, and we're gonna get on it right now, because I don't know about you. Well, I think I do know about you, because I get so many emails saying, come on, when's it gonna be here? And it's here. So I know there's a lot of people that are really excited about getting in and getting it going for them. And there's no better time than the first of the year, right? So that's the deal. If you want it, come to my website, buy it now while the price is cheap. It'll say that you're buying the Magic EA, but I'm going to send you the MegaMagic EA. Okay? So don't worry about the payment link saying the wrong thing. I know what you want. I know, you know, I'm the only one here. So when I see the purchases come through, I know what you want. And that's what you're going to get. Okay? And it's essentially on sale until I have a chance to change the payment links. But I'm not going to sell it for mini accounts. I'm not going to sell it for demo only accounts. Not doing that. The MegaMagic EA is not going to be used as a toy. So many people have used my Magic EA like as a video game, and they buy, you know, the demo license. I'm not going to offer a demo at all on the MegaMagic EA. If people want it, they want it. If they don't want it, they don't want it. Now, when you do buy it for a live account, you also get a license for a demo account. So that way you can use your demo account to run the MegaMagic EA on if you want to test out different strategies and stuff like that, and not do it in your live account. Okay, now if you want to buy it today but you don't have a live account set up yet, don't worry about that. I'll send you the Magic EA for your demo account, and your 1 month license will not start until you request your MegaMagic EA for your live account. So if it takes you 10 days or 2 weeks or whatever to get your live account open, and let's say you email me on the 15th of January and say, okay, I finally got my live account going, then I'll send you your license, your Magic EA for your live account, and your license date will start on that day. I'm not going to say, oh, well, you bought it 2 weeks ago, you only have 2 weeks left. I don't do that to people. Okay, so if you don't have your live account up and running yet, don't worry about it, but buy it today so that you can start with us on Friday and start working with it on the demo account. Your actual license will still be a 30-day license, whether we start it Friday or 2 weeks from now or a month from now. Okay? So don't worry about that. So anyway, that's really about all I have to tell you about the Magic EA, and I've blabbed on here for almost an hour, but I think you're going to love it. I've never been more excited to have this project finished, and I truly believe it's better than I even expected it to be. So anyway, I hope I hear from you soon. It's about all I got to tell you today, and I hope I'll be talking to you on Friday and Saturday and Sunday and Monday. Okay? So bye for now. Have a good week, everybody.